John didn't doubt God because he was weak. He questioned because he was human. And from a prison cell, he asked the question many believers are afraid to ask: are you really the one? He announced the Messiah. He prepared the way. And then he was locked in a prison. No miracle, no escape, only silence. Even the strongest faith can ask questions in the dark. John the Baptist, dressed in simple and humble clothes, proclaims the imminent arrival of the Messiah on the banks of the Jordan River. Crowds gather to hear his powerful words and undergo baptism as a symbol of repentance. Between the water and the open sky, John recognizes Jesus, the Son of God, and performs the baptism that will mark the beginning of a transformative ministry. At this sacred moment, the voice from heaven echoes, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." The scene is permeated by a divine and prophetic atmosphere, revealing the unique mission of John the Baptist as a precursor to the one who will bring salvation to the world. After announcing the arrival of the Messiah and challenging the authorities with his message of repentance, John the Baptist is captured by soldiers under the command of Herod Antipas, the Tetrarch of Galilee. Torn from his familiar surroundings in the desert, João is forcibly taken to a dark, damp prison, where the icy chains on his wrists symbolize the repression of the truth he so preached. The contrast between the purifying waters of the Jordan River and the dirt of the cell is overwhelming for João, who faces loneliness and physical discomfort with courage and resignation. While awaiting trial, the prophet remains silent, reflecting on his mission and the uncertainty of the future, without losing hope in divine justice. As the weeks drag by in the darkness of the prison, João Batista finds himself facing an overwhelming internal challenge. Loneliness and silence are his only companions, echoing off the cold cell walls. The prophet, who once fervently proclaimed the arrival of the Messiah, now faces an unexpected crisis of faith. Doubts haunt him during the night's vigil, questioning whether his words were truly heard and whether his mission had any impact. The absence of divine answers slowly consumes him, testing the limits of his devotion and trust in the higher plane. Amid the oppressive darkness, João seeks strength to face the uncertainty of tomorrow and keep the flame of hope alive in his troubled heart. As the days turn into weeks and the weeks into months, the dark cell becomes the only world known to John the Baptist. The absence of divine answers weighs on his tired shoulders, making him question every word spoken on the banks of the Jordan River. The chains that bind his body also imprison his mind, constantly reminding him of his condition as a prisoner of human injustice. Amidst the deafening silence, João struggles to keep alive the flame of hope that once burned so brightly in his heart. The uncertainty of the future and pervasive loneliness challenge his faith like never before, leading him to confront his own weaknesses and limitations with quiet, resilient courage. As the weeks drag on in the darkness of the prison, John the Baptist faces loneliness with resignation, but the absence of divine answers weighs on his soul. Each day of silence is like an eternity for the prophet, whose faith is tested to the limit. The damp walls of the cell seem to close in around him, echoing only the sound of his own thoughts. The hope of liberation slowly fades, giving way to uncertainty and questioning. God's silence becomes deafening, challenging the unshakable confidence that once sustained John amidst the crowds, thirsty for his prophetic words. As the shadows of the prison lengthen, João Batista seeks solace in the memories of sunny days on the banks of the Jordan River. He relives the moments of fervor and conviction that impelled him to proclaim the coming of the Messiah, recalling the multitudes thirsty for hope and repentance. Amid the suffocating darkness of the cell, he closes his eyes and visualizes the purifying waters that witnessed his prophetic mission. The faith that once burned like an intense flame in your chest now seems to waver in the face of divine silence. However, even in the midst of darkness, John finds the strength to reaffirm his confidence in the promises made about the one who would come after him. Your troubled soul finds refuge in the certainty that the divine plan unfolds according to God's sovereign will, even when the paths seem shrouded in mystery and silence. As the shadows of the night lengthen in the damp and dark cell, João Batista finds himself prostrate on the cold floor, enveloped by loneliness and deafening silence. His voice, which once echoed powerfully on the banks of the Jordan River, is now just a whisper of unanswered pleas. The prophet, whose eyes once witnessed the heavenly glory upon the Messiah, now wonders in agony why God remains silent in the face of his suffering. Every second of waiting seems like an eternity. Every beat of your heart is an echo of the anguish that consumes you. The uncertainty of tomorrow hangs like a shadow over his troubled soul, challenging the very essence of his unshakable faith. In the depths of darkness, John cries out for a divine sign to illuminate his tortuous path and restore lost hope. As the weeks turn into months in the dark, damp cell, John the Baptist finds himself in a state of deep anguish, his faith being tested with each moment of divine silence. The weight becomes unbearable, and the lack of answers weighs like a burden on your tired shoulders. Every day without a word of comfort from above is like an eternity for the prophet who once fervently proclaimed the coming of the Messiah. Loneliness and uncertainty intertwine in his tormented mind, challenging the foundations of his trust in the divine plan. Even in the face of the darkness that surrounds him, João seeks strength to keep alive the flame of hope that still shines dimly in his troubled heart. As the shadows of the night lengthen in the damp and dark cell, João Batista finds himself prostrate on the cold floor, enveloped by loneliness and deafening silence. His voice, which once echoed powerfully on the banks of the Jordan River, is now just a whisper of unanswered pleas. The prophet, whose eyes once witnessed the heavenly glory upon the Messiah, now wonders in agony why God remains silent in the face. Every second of waiting seems like an eternity. Every beat of your heart is an echo of the anguish that consumes you. The uncertainty of tomorrow hangs like a shadow over his troubled soul, challenging the very essence of his unshakable faith. In the depths of darkness, John cries out for a divine sign to illuminate his tortuous path and restore lost hope. As John the Baptist waited in his dark, damp cell, doubt and loneliness enveloped him like a shadowy cloak. The absence of divine answers weighed on his troubled soul, testing the limits of his unshakable faith. However, amidst the deafening silence, a light of hope shone in his grief-stricken heart. A soft voice echoed through the cold walls of the prison, bringing with it a message of comfort and strength. "Blessed is he who is not offended in me." These divine words penetrated deeply into John's soul, renewing his trust in the higher plane and restoring the flame of hope that seemed to be fading. With a serene smile on his lips and his eyes fixed on the horizon beyond the bars, João found peace in the certainty that his faith had truly been tested and strengthened in divine silence. If you want to know more inspiring biblical stories, be sure to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to receive notifications. I hope you are touched by this powerful narrative about John the Baptist's faith in the midst of divine silence. May we learn from your perseverance and unwavering confidence. Leave in the comments which biblical character you would like to see here on the channel. Until the next video, may God bless them.